Hi, I'm Chris Haigh and this is the Fiddle channel, and today we're going to play Bossa Dorado. Bossa Dorado is a composition from the French gypsy violinist and guitarist Dorado Schmidt, and this is probably his best known composition. I'm going to show you the basic melody, some ideas for fingering, and then I'll give you some licks that you can use in the solo and a little talk about the various chords in there. Okay, let's start off with the intro, which as everybody points out is similar to the James Bond theme, as you will see. So we're going to start off, we do the first part in first position. So the fingering, open onto a first finger on the E string. Put your first finger then across both strings next to the nut. And then leaving your first finger on, put your second finger on right next to the first finger on the A string to give you a B natural. And then you have that little bit at the end. And the rhythm is the, I suppose the other tricky bit, doom da do da doom da do doom da doom da do da doom da do doom da. Once you've got that, it's fairly easy, and that's kind of a basic standard Latin rhythm. I'll give you that once more. Okay, then it's into the melody, and most of the first bit you want to do in third position. So open A to third finger on the A string. Then we're going on to the E string, still staying in third position. So for this, second finger is there on an A, and then you put your first finger next to it on the D string to give a G sharp. And then that is third finger on the A string, second finger playing the E. So I'll just take it through those three bars again. Carrying on. First finger goes down half a step, and then down to first position. Then we repeat that. And then a little ending phrase. So that's. Then back carrying on in first position. That bit, I think it's quite nice to do a slide up, but you could do open E if you want. Then it's almost the same as the beginning of the A section. So that ending, it's just that phrase. Just worth mentioning the bowing that I do on the intro. I'm doing two ups there, and then two ups again. Okay, let's go all the way through the intro and the verse with the backing. Okay, now the chord sequence is interesting. We're not going to be soloing on the intro, so I won't go through that. But A section, we got D minor, E7, E minor 7 flat 5, A7, D minor 7. E minor 7, flat 5 and A7 in one bar. D minor, E7, E minor 7 flat 5, A7, D minor, A minor 7 flat 5, D7, G minor, E7, E minor 7 flat 5, A7, D minor, E7, E minor 7 flat 5, A7, and then you're on D minor. So there are two main approaches you can take, particularly to the D minor part. And one is to concentrate on the chords with riffs based around arpeggios of those chords. The other is to find licks which will go through the various chords as they're changing. And we're going to look at both of those approaches. Let's start off with the simplistic approach, which is trying to find licks in D minor which will work on D minor, on E7, on E minor 7 flat 5 and on A7. And I've got quite a few of these. The first one I found on a video by Jason Anick, who does an excellent version of this and has a solo, a really nice solo, which he's got all written out on his video. So check that out. And I borrowed one of those licks from him. That. So it's a kind of a roll around G. I think you can either do an F sharp or an F natural. I think he does F sharp and I think I prefer that. But this is a 3-beat lick, so it's 1, 2, 3, E1, 2, 3, E1, 2, 3. So it cuts right across the beat. Another one you can do is a octave D. So first finger on the A string, fourth finger on the E string. So I'm doing down, up, up, down, up, up, down, up, up, down, up, up, down, up, down. Let's just hear those two together. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Neither of these licks or the next couple I'm going to do will work when it changes to A minor 7, so don't try and carry on further than that. So another one you can do is a simple minor blues lick. In this case we're going to go up an octave and a half. So that's the flat 5, natural 5, and then a triplet. And you can either do 3-4 or 3 open, or you can do 4-4 sliding. I think the 4-4 is quite nice on the way down, but the 4 open is a lot easier on the way up. Another one is an A to a D. And you can either do it just like that or slide up to each of those notes, or you can do it up an octave, which is really nice and cutting. And then one more, using an open A as a kind of a pedal. And you can really choose which minor scale you go up with. Or you could even do something like that. Let's try those 3 with the backing. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you probably find quite a few more of those kind of licks, and it's nice occasionally to do a lick which you can keep going across a chord change. But if you do that all the time, it gets a bit predictable. Okay, the other alternative is to base licks around the individual chords. So for a D minor, for example, the problem with arpeggios, if you just go straight up or down, is that you get there very quickly. So it's a great idea to find a slower way of getting there. So something like that. Or that makes a much better lick. For E7, you can stretch that by and you can either do it as a straight E or add the 7th in. Doing a triplet. And then we come to the E minor 7 flat 5 to A7. Now an E minor 7 flat 5, well, let's start with an E minor 7. Is that, flatten the 5th, and you get that with a B flat. What I like to do is to turn the E minor 7 flat 5 and the following chord, the A7, into a single E diminished, which kind of turns the A7 into an A7 flat 9 if you're interested. I wouldn't worry about that too much. But almost whenever you get a minor 7 flat 5, it will be followed by an A7, and you can do the same trick. So licks that you can do on the minor 7 flat 5, or coming down, that kind of thing. And there's only a few diminished fingerings that you have to learn, because an E is the same as a G, is the same as a B flat, is the same as a C sharp. So it's well worth learning the fingerings for those, because they're kind of not easy to predict, so you just have to let your fingers get on with it. Coming to the bridge, the A-7 to D7 to G minor, I would do exactly the same thing. Turn the A-7 flat 5 into a diminished, or that, and then end on the G minor, and it's to the E7. And incidentally, there's this favourite lick of mine, a Grappelli lick, which is a great one for E7. Only challenge is hitting that first that note in tune. Okay, so I'm going to go through the solo, and this time I'm going to put in a lot of these licks based on the arpeggios. Here we go. And so on. There was one lick I did there which I forgot to mention, and that is for the E7. It sounds very flashy. It's not actually really difficult. So we're going 2, 1. And go as high as you like, as high as you dare. I'm not really sure what's happening harmonically there, but it's a simple, effective lick. But I only ever use that one on E7. Although there's an A7 one, that one, which is the same kind of thing. But anyway, yes, this is a really nice one for a good long solo. Lots of interesting things going on, but you do have to be aware of the chord sequence, because you don't want to be playing the wrong arpeggio on the wrong chord. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you would like a copy of the sheet music for this, then do subscribe to the channel and send me an email. And you can get all of my PDFs in one go if you join me on Patreon. And remember, it's the Patreon that keeps all these videos coming. Thanks for watching. See you again soon.